When I look at where I'm coming from, I know I'm blessed, and I close my eyes and smile. Sometimes I feel like the richest man in Babylon, and I've done my best.
So, before I share this first song that was specially requested by the author himself, hello sir, I want to let you know that there are free samples of Auntie Jojo's desserts and snacks at the table there. So as soon as we get a break, you can come and sample fruit cakes, brownies, power bars, no sugar, no flour, no dairy, no eggs, but full of flavor and full of richness. So don't forget, and we also have the albums from which these songs are taken. So the first song, this is the first time I'm actually doing it live, requested by Damien Williams. I don't want my bones to be buried on this side of the Jordan River. Them fi buried on this side of the Jordan River. I don't want my bones to be buried on this side of the Jordan River. I don't want my bones to be buried on this side of the Jordan River. I want to cross over to the promised land. You know I'm me born them fi bury on this side of the Jordan River. No, 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 no. Me know I'm me born them fi bury on this side of the Jordan River. No, no. Me know I'm me born them fi bury on this side of the Jordan River. Me want fi cross over to the promised land. So just like how God did rest on day 7, after him they don't make the world. And so on Sabbath rest still there for God people them. Because the one we get for rest, how God people rest, him did rest too and not do no work. Just like how God did rest when him did don't feel work. So we fi try hard. We make sure so we get that kind of rest that we God give. So nobody no miss the chance we get it. Cause them go do the same sitting them where them father did do. No listen God. And not doing stuff in it. Oh, me know I'm me born them fi bury on this side of the Jordan River. No, 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 no. Me know I'm me born them fi bury on this side of the Jordan River. No, no. Me know I'm me born them fi bury on this side of the Jordan River. Me want fi cross over to the promised land. We have one leader for the priests them. We're the biggest one out of all of the leader them for priests. Him go with God there. That a Jesus. God boy pity. So, like how him a feel leader for priests. The whole of we so we believe in him. For whole and strong and go and believe. Same way. So, make we go to the one we show we love, even though we not deserve it. And no bother if and but and galang like we're afraid. So him we good and kind, we kind to it and show we love, even though we not deserve it, and help we anytime we need the help. Oh. No, 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 me no want me bone them fi bury pon this side of the Jordan River. No, 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 me no want me bone them fi bury pon this side of the Jordan River. We have to cross over, over to the promised land.
Yeah.
All right. The next song I hear, I do have the time to just share the scripture from which this next song was taken. And then I can put down the book and sing. Revelation chapter 7:13. Then one of the elder them asked me, say, them people here will have a long white jacket. Who them be? And where them come from? My answer him say, sir, you know the answer. Then him say, you see, them people here, them are the one them we go through the terrible, terrible sufferation. Them wash them clothes white in the baby sheep blood. Sake of that, them turn up in front of God throne now and I serve him day and night in him house. And the one we sit on the throne, I go live with them and protect them. Them now go get hungry no more. And them throat now go dry no more. The hot sun now go burn them. And no eat now go scorch them up. Cause the baby sheep, where they are the middle of the throne, I go take care of them just like our shepherd take care of him sheep. Him go lead them go one place where fresh clean water ever run. And God going dry up all of them yai water. And God want this. Thank God. Amen. Jesus Christ, hold on, no let go. Hold on, brother, sister, in Jesus Christ, hold on, no let go. We come through enough sufferation, enough tribulation, enough trial and crosses reach we end. And no play we are playing. No sufferation, no botheration, no trial and crosses reach me. We not play, but dear, the one we sit up on the throne and go live with me. And one day, the one we sit up on the throne and go protect we. We never get hungry no more, and we should not go dry no more. The oxen not go burn we up no more, no eat, no go scotch we up no more. Hold on, brother, sister, in Jesus Christ, hold on, hold on, brother, sister, in Jesus Christ, hold on, let go. We come through enough sufferation, enough tribulation,
no trial and crisis which we had. I don't feel we are clear. No sufferation. No moderation. No trial and crisis which we had. We not fear, but the lamb and the deal and the throne take care of we like a wash. Take care of she. Him a go lead we go a one place where fresh clean water ever around. Him a go lead we go a one place where fresh clean water ever around. And God boy dry up all we are water. Yes, God boy dry up all we are water. We never get hungry no more, and which one never dry no more. The answer never come we up no more. No eat never scotch we up no more. Hold on, brother, sister, in Jesus Christ. Hold on, let's go. Hold on, brother, sister, in Jesus Christ. Hold on, let's go. Hold on, brother, sister, in Jesus Christ. Hold on, let's go. Hold on, brother, sister, in Jesus Christ. Hold on, let's go. Hold on, brother, sister, in Jesus Christ. Hold on, let's go. Hold on, let go. Hold on, let's go. Hold on, let go.
Bless him.
This time, we want to give everybody the opportunity, beginning first, though, with Dr. Henry Morgan. Everybody will get the opportunity to say in 1 minute, 1 minute, because he was on the original program, he gets 3 minutes. But everybody else will have 1 minute to say something to Damien, to offer some form of a sentiment in his milestone. Dr. Morgan.
Good evening. That was beautiful singing, like lemonade with a whole heap of sugar. That makes my daughter upset. The sugar. God is so good. Where do I begin? I won't be long, because I purposely did not prepare for the remarks I would make. I speak more from my heart, from my notes. I just wanted it to have a little bit of emotional edge to it. God sent Marcus among us in Trenchtown, and we have never been the same again. Where is he? Let me look at him. Brother Marcus, you have changed the DNA of that church in Trenchtown. You know, in the inner city and in New Testament fundamentalist churches, we can become very hardened in our positions. Even in our prayers for those who we think need God, you can hear hate if you listen closely. And Brother Damien, through your ministry and your teaching, we are ready to take and maybe pass what I call that final interview, when a lot of the things we have prepared for will not be asked, because we have already been saved through grace and mercy. But we'll be asked about those who need to be clothed, those who need to be fed, those who are sick and needed to be visited. I really want to thank you for that. I cannot sit without mentioning the great love that my wife, my children's mother had for you. Had we not been blessed materially, there are a lot of Sundays I would not get a full dinner because it was carted off to Marcus. My children, Brother Marcus, they speak with you, of you, not just with love, uncommon love. Their eyes, their whole emotion, and that is something special. I must tell you that since you're not in Trenchtown every Sunday morning, their punctuality at church has seriously declined. And in Bible study, it has gone to 0. Brother Marcus is the absolutely best teacher, most riveting teacher of the scripture that I have met. Do we ever disagree on points? Absolutely. But he has such a consistency. And before you tackle him on any point, you better be grounded in the Word, because that's where he grounds his teaching. So good to be here at the launch of your book. Had I known the Marcus you described in the first paragraph, then I would have been better able to appreciate the Marcus in the penultimate chapter, sipping lemonade. I really would have been able to appreciate the journey more. But nevertheless, that's what salvation is. It's like metamorphosis, isn't it? It has a transforming power. Thank you very much. God bless you. And Alyssa, go over and give him a kiss for me. Just give him a hug and give him a kiss. God bless you all.
You know, there are some students in one's class who one never forgets. I still have. How many years ago was that? About 7? About 10. 10. About 10. All right. But I still have the journal that he used to write. I just made them write, and he was just one of the students in my class whom I'll never forget. He changed the atmosphere. He was just way above the others in his critical thinking, in his writing skills, and I knew that you were destined for great things the minute I started teaching you. So I give God thanks that you came into my life, and I would never have missed this. I had to come and just congratulate you and pray that God will continue to bless this talent, and that there are going to be many more books that will flow out of you through God's grace.
Just tell us who you are and where you know Marcus from.
Okay, well, you know, it's not about me, so anyway. Here at JTS, I have been teaching on and off, teaching other places, but I met Marcus right here at JTS. My name is Amma Ababio.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Deidre Harris. I'm from the wonderful community of Nagohead, where Damien is currently working. I must say, he is my motivator. We have a big community group and everything. Deidre. But I'm kind of thankful for that, and I wouldn't miss this for the world. Continue being you and doing great.
Hi everybody, my name is Prudence Hall, and I met Damien a couple years ago via social media, and we found out that we like similar things, especially charity, so we partnered on a charity venture for the children at SOS Village. I am so proud of you, Damien. I'm happy to be at your book launch. Damien is such a shiny human being. He's the best. I just want to read this little, this was my takeaway from the book. I really love this. It doesn't matter where we are starting from or what the destination is. I believe the most important thing is enjoying the journey and learning the lessons. Each of us must decide what we do when life throws us lemons.
Well, How I met Damien? Well, I'm Leroy Montague. Damien, to me, is an individual that he has a genuine love. He's a genuine person, and he is not superficial, right? He really, when I met him, he really challenged some of my fundamentalist views and in terms of how you interact with people. And it really was like an earthquake for me and tore down some of the walls that I had. And for me, it has made me a better person in how I deal with persons, in particular as a Christian, because you will encounter people from different walks of life, and you know, yeah, so that's what I have to say.
It's really hard for me to speak for a minute, but I'm going to get there, Barry. I'm Geraldine, Jerry. Damien and I, we lead worship at Ecclesia Bible Fellowship. So I've known Damien since that inception. That would be about 6 years or 7, yeah. So in 7 years you know somebody, 1 minute to give a talk. Why am I going to write something? I'm going to probably write a book too. But I won't. I just want to say Damien is really an inspiration. I have seen Damien, and he's very passionate. He's very passionate and very colorful. For those who know him, you know, as you see, he brings it out in his clothing also. Pastor, don't touch me. If not, I'm going to stop right here. Let me just quickly say that Damien has really blossomed. Damien has moved from down in the valley to the mountaintop, and that is because of God's grace. And I have seen the transition. And when we say because of God's grace, I say yes. So put your hand together, man. God's grace. While he's sitting here and able to write a book, you know, it's God's grace. So, I mean, for me, it is really an honor, Pastor Clearing through, to just say congratulations, all the best. I know this is just the beginning. So we know greater things you will do, and I look forward to reading your book and continue to watch you as you blossom and grow into all that God has purposed. I'm going to stop because Pastor, hear him short. But thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Let's call it Griffiths. I've had the pleasure of working with Damien for 1.5 years in Nagahead, Newlands and Gregory Park, where we've been doing quite a bit of community work. Quickly, a year ago, when it was January, I asked everyone, what are they going to achieve this year? And Damien said he's going to write a book. This year when we got back into office, I said, what have we achieved? These are the things we said. He says, I finished the book now. And I was really, really quite proud of him, because in that year he has done some grueling work, has been put under a lot of pressure, but he finished the book. So I'm congratulating him for that. If there's one thing I can say about Damien, is he has a heart of gold and love for those who are underserved. God bless you. May you continue to strive, and may you give all that you have to God.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sandra Dixon, and I met, people always say Damien, but I always call him Marcus. And I was thinking about it this day, why I insist in Marcus. Because Marcus is a great man, eh? And you are a great person. I met Marcus in 2005, right here on the campuses of JTS. And I remember that Christmas that he came home with me, and we had Christmas the whole day, and we chatted. And Marcus and I will have long conversations. He's my confidant and vice versa. We can talk about any and everything. I remember one time he was reading something for me and says, Auntie Sandra, you're Joe Bishop, me can't manage you. And that has stuck with me. But even if I don't see him for a long time, when we see each other, it's just as if it just begun. Today I feel like a mother, excited, because I see what you have been talking, being birth. I'm so proud of you. And you know that I love you dearly. God bless you, and I know you're going to do great and wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Barry calling me to come up and I'm going to sit down. So that means we must talk. Right? Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Rohan Trelevan. I am happy to be here for this launch this evening. I met Marcus on this very campus many years ago. I needed help with writing a thesis, and all the persons I went to, they could not help. And someone suggested, why don't you ask Damien Williams? I think somebody else was on the campus with the same name, and I said, no, I've seen and heard that person. That person is perhaps unable to. And then they said, no, I'm speaking that young man. He was sitting down there, and I called him, and the rest is history. Marcus and I are good friends. We are close. We're brothers, right? We share everything together, and I'm really happy for you, and I must congratulate you. I told him today I'm going to write a book as well, and he said to me, I'm putting you to it. I'm ensuring that you keep your word. So he and I will write a book together. All the best, Damien.
Hi, my name's Emma Lewis, and if you look in the front of your book, you might see a few words that I wrote for Damien, and I don't know what to say, except that you're my dear friend. I'm so happy that you came in my life, and that we have had a lot to offer each other and support for each other, and I really appreciate the person that you are, and that I've always seen in you, as someone said, a heart of gold, and very special person.
Year 2005, that makes it how long? September 2005. I had landed in Jamaica back that August, and I was drafted to come and teach here at Jamaica Theological Seminary, and I met Damien, and Damien had some other friends. One of them is going to be coming up soon. What's her name again? She's going to be coming up soon, not to talk with him, but to lead a discussion. And he said, I know Damien probably longer than most people here. And I know that side of Damien, where I had to put him over one side and others over another side, so as to get the class going without the major interaction of talking between themselves, you know. So I've been knowing Damien from that time coming up. I've known him for the times when people consider him a troublemaker. I don't think they stopped. But they're beginning to understand a little bit more about the trouble. I know Damien through a lot of issues, through a lot of stuff, and we have worked together. I remember when we had the idea to start a church, Damien was the first one to come to me and say, listen, count me in, you know. And Damien has been a part of us since then, an integral part of Ecclesia Bible Fellowship. This whole side, practically, and some over this side even, are members of the church who know Damien very well. And we have been under his ministry, where the Lord has used him, the Lord has blessed him. We have seen trials and going through hard times and struggles. But you know, one of the things that I look at most, and I'm encouraged by it, the book is great, and drinking lemonade is wonderful. But many people don't get to lemonade stage simply because others don't give them a second chance. That's what I found. When I see Damien, that's what I see. Somebody who continued because others stood up and said, no, we're going to give him a chance. We're going to fight with him. We're going to struggle with him. We're going to push with him. There might be many Damiens amongst your own lives right now, and you want to dismiss them and get rid of them. But you know, the maverick never runs like every other horse. And there's only one thing you can do with mavericks, and that's to ride them, to get the most out of them. Damien, congratulations. You know, I love you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Antonia Makala, and I specifically focus on children. But this evening, I see many grown children. So, I'll be sharing some of my knowledge with you. I want to start with the scripture that says, count it pure joy. Count it pure joy. When you go through trials, when you go through things in life, tough things in life. And that's what James said. You count it what? Pure joy. It's not easy to do that. And I see here today, and some persons in the audience will know some of my trials. I've recently been through or going through one of my greatest trials. And James says, count it pure joy when you go through these trials, because what happened? It brings out something inside of you. Perseverance and character. And God is bringing out something inside of you. Right? And I am going to use some science to explain some more. Not meaning that science is more important than the word. Because the word has been there long before science. And science just came about to just validate some of the things. The world was round long before, and it was in the Bible, and they were searching for so long. And scientists found out. So science is not over the word, right? But just to explain a little bit more about trials and your brain, or experiences and your brain, or things that you go through and your brain. I think some persons here from a scientific perspective will understand the word neurons. And what are these? These are things that are inside of you that they fire when you go through experiences. So if you touch a hot pot, they send messages to say, hey, this is too hot, let it go. Right? And these neurons are firing. And they're firing through different things in life. And what happens? When they keep on firing repeatedly in the same way, they form a pattern. And they form a pattern. And what is happening? Your brain is pruning. You're developing things. Now when you go through trials, when you go through tough times, there are things that you're not used to this. People who grieve, you don't wake up every day grieving. Do you? No. But when you go through those times, there are new things that you're experiencing, and your neurons are firing in different ways. And when you go through that trial, focusing on the word and focusing on God, there is something inside of you. There's something inside of your brain that is pruned and developed. There is a new side of you. So as James says, you count it all joy, because God is bringing about something new, something different, something spectacular inside of you. Jean Piaget would say you're developing new schemas. So you're getting all these great things inside of you. But guess what? We don't see it that way when we're going through. It doesn't feel that way when you're going through. But when you pass through it and you look back, and if you really count and look back, you would realize how much you've learned and how much you would have developed. And maybe you would say, I would not trade this experience for anything. So James says, count it pure joy.
Good evening. Thanks for coming. My heart is kind of full. I promised to myself that I won't cry. Romans 8:28 says that it is God who works all things for the good of those who love him and are called according to purpose. I have found that all things working together for good is actually true. And you might read of some of the things and experiences in my book. And I did not tell them for a pity party. I told them so that we would understand that the lemons in our lives serve a purpose, that they come to form character in us, that they come to develop, as Antonia said, our schema, that they come to make us stronger. And those things aren't just cliches. Those things are real. You're sitting here this evening because of those lemons. And I'm so happy to see each of you and for all of your support. And I can tell you this, that whatever it is that you find yourself struggling with, battling with, that you think that it has come to destroy you, understand that every experience is your teacher. So that when that experience shows up, you ask, what have you come to teach me? And you listen, because every experience speaks to you in the most profound way that will transform your life for the greater good, not just for yourself, but for others. Because sometimes we can be mistaken in thinking that we have come to this existence for ourselves. But your experience is never wasted. It's really not just about you. Everything that I've been through were for the people at Ecclesia Bible Fellowship. Everything that I've ever been through was for the people of Nagohead, Gregory Park, and Newland. Everything that I've ever been through were for the people that Jamaica Aid Support for Life serves. Every experience that I've ever been through is for the people of the world. Every person that my life will come into contact with. Because you see, those things have taught me what it is to be human and what it is to be broken. And broken things can be used. It is broken ground that gives us food, and broken clouds that give us rain, and broken seed and grain that gives us food to eat. And out of your brokenness, God can and He will use you for the good of others. So, take those lemons. Don't dodge them. Don't try to get under them, around them, over them. The only way to deal with those lemons is to go through them. Thank you.
Hello, you can hear me? Okay. Damien, thank you for having me here tonight. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to ask everybody to close their eyes. My eyes will be open, so you don't have to worry that people might take away your things or anything. Just close your eyes. It's a safe space, like a guy. Please. Alright, now I want you to think about a time when you felt light or when you felt whole in yourself. Go back to that moment. It was a good moment where you weren't really thinking about what was wrong. You felt whole in yourself. Do you remember that moment? Just nod. I know your eye lock. You can talk with your eye lock still. Alright. Now open your eyes. That way that you felt in that moment, is that how you felt right before you closed your eyes? Is that how you feel every day? That whole feeling? Do you feel whole every day? Do you feel light every day? No. So, I was one of those people who always assumed that during the course of going through your life, you would just get heavier. Not just physically heavier, though I have gotten physically heavier throughout my life. But I always just assume that you become burdened down and move towards one of those miserable old people that nobody like, you know, who just have a problem with everybody and they're deeply unhappy. I thought that's the way life had to turn out. Until I realized that a lot of what we think of as the natural course of life is actually us just never fully addressing our pain and making any efforts to heal. I don't know how many of us get up on a daily basis and say, today my priority is to heal something that happened to me long ago. My priority is to get to work. My priority is to get this report in. It's to make sure that my kids are okay. It's to make sure that my partner is satisfied. But at what point do I stop and think about the things that have happened to me? Because things happen to you. If you look at your skin, you'll see scars, right? And when you get a cut on your skin, you get the band-aid, you get this, whatever you need to rub on it, you pay attention to it for a while. But a lot of times things happen to us and we don't pay attention to them. We don't even go back to them. We just know, don't touch right here, because it hurts. And that's how you can tell when something is unhealed. So I had a lot of pain and I was kind of living with it. And it wasn't until I actually found something that felt like a passion for me that it became a priority for me to try to fix it. Because now my pain was getting in the way of my purpose. Because I was always going through something. I was one of those people who was always going through something. And I spent so much time going through something that I couldn't actually do the things that I wanted to do. And my impetus to heal stemmed from my need to not go through something so I could do something bigger with myself and with my life. So my purpose is the thing that liberated me from my pain. And my purpose, and my purpose is actually to try to help other people surpass their pain. Because I think that we are, right? I think that we all deserve good lives and we deserve to feel good in our lives. But in order to do that, we have to make the decisions that it's worth it for us to go through what we have to go through to get to that point. Because you have to swallow the lemon. You have to swallow it. You have to look on the pain and go, oh my God, it was so horrible. I can't believe that happened. And you broke down and you bawl and your mother rub you with beer, rum and all of these other things that you go through. And then you get to the other side of that and you can look back at that and say, what did this teach me that I can give to somebody else? Because your pain is always trying to teach you. It's teaching you what's wrong. It's teaching you what you've neglected. It's teaching you where you need to pour a little more love into yourself. And so for me, the relationship between passion, pain, and purpose, for me personally, is that my passion liberated me from my pain and pushed me towards my purpose. And I think it's, if there's one thing that I actually want to leave behind, is the idea that you can have a life that feels whole. No matter your age, no matter what you've been through, you can go back to that whole feeling. It's never too late for you to start going back there if you make your healing a priority.
I think somehow when people are feeling pain and people are grieving, our natural tendency is to try to let them not feel that. And one of the ways of healing is feeling pain. Pain is an indication that you're healing, and we must allow people to feel like they're permitted to feel pain and give them the space to feel it, to grieve, to act out if they need to, and to go through the process, because healing is a process. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not something to get over. It is something to get through. So they have to go through it.
And timing is very important. There are various stages of grieving, and the initial stage when this person is so broken, and we grieve, even though we most times identify with death, we grieve a lot of things in our lives. You go through anger, you go through denial, you go through so many different things before you actually reach the acceptance. And it can be very inappropriate to go to the person when they're not at that acceptance stage and just giving them all these equations and these formulas, you know, how to get out and all of that, when what the person needs at that time of brokenness is comfort. Sometimes it's even standing there and not speaking. Sometimes it's just hugging, just doing things, helping that person, because when you go through grief, there are different parts of you that needs help, that becomes vulnerable. So it's being there and empathizing with that person. And for me, even going beyond that, I have a son. He's 2 years old, and it dawned on me one day how I speak to him. Like when he falls or something happens to him painful, I would say, "Come, get up, man, you're all right," or "Brush it off, you're okay." And then when something painful happens to me, I say, "Get up, man, you're all right, brush it off, you're okay." And it feels so terrible, because I'm saying in my mind, this child doesn't understand the pain that I'm going through. Sometimes people don't understand the pain that you're going through, and sometimes we have to forgive them. But just to be mindful that we ought to be sympathetic, compassionate. If we read carefully into how Jesus related to people who were broken and vulnerable, that wasn't the time when he was preaching all the messages in the world. It was a time when he offered comfort, and he offered himself to embrace this person. And also to go back on a point that you said about pain. We're in a culture that doesn't pay attention to pain and wounds. We try to shut down people. It's like it would be so inappropriate if I see Damien bleeding beside me and say, "Come on, Ushman, it's all right." You know, that would be inappropriate. And we're in that kind of culture. Sometimes people see people bleeding and it's like, "Come on, hurry up, brush it off, it's all right, it's all right." And there is no comfort and no compassion and no sympathy. But as people of God, we are called to be compassionate. Sometimes you don't have the right words to say, and sometimes you don't need to say a word. Just be there to support, to pray with, to hug, to do something. If that person lost a husband, that support won't be there. Maybe you need to go and help with some chores, help with the kids. Say, "Can I pick up your kids for you?" So it is really supporting and being compassionate.
It's still there, and it's going to come out eventually, probably when you least expect it, and probably in the unhealthiest way possible, because you didn't go through the process of fixing it. You know, I think that how to take yourself through it, if it does come back eventually, you can try a couple of things. One of the things that I have done to try to work through some of my pain is to talk to myself, different selves, right? So I'll maybe just sit down and literally start rubbing my arm or something like that and saying, "Hello, Carla, hello, Carla, hello, Carla," until one version of me comes out. Often it's the child, because some of the stuff I need to deal with is picnic things. Because the same thing, childhood can be brutal. You know, they're just like, "Yeah, pick me, not a problem. Your bread butter pan toe side." When, as a child, sometimes you have problem, and all when the bread butter is still dry. So I speak to myself, and then when that little 7-year-old version of myself come out, I ask her, "What is it? What do you want from me? What do you need from me?" Because where I am, so one of the things that happens when you don't deal with something, and I'm not advocating for not dealing with it, but when you don't deal with it, and you get a little further in life, and then you deal with it, you're in a different position to help yourself through. So 36-year-old me can help 7-year-old me through something. So there's a way that I offer support to myself and advocate for myself, almost as though I'm another person, to try to bring myself back to wholeness. But if we don't get through it, eventually you will have to deal with it. And if you're encountering somebody who is coming to pain later on, maybe something that they ignored, the first thing that I would say is be gentle with people. Don't bother stress them out about why them never deal with it then, why you never tell police, why you never call somebody. And I mean, within a Caribbean context, these are important conversations to have. Why you never talk out that something was happening? Why didn't you say it hurt you then? Well, because I was 8 and I didn't know who to speak to, and I didn't have a language to tell anyone. And so if you're gentle with people and you begin to feel like a soft space, a lot of times people will lead you through healing them, because they know what they need. What they actually require is a space where they can put that all out there, pick through the different pieces, and come up with what plan works for them. Sometimes it's counseling, sometimes it's prayer, sometimes it's meditation, exercise, whatever, but they'll get through.
Sometimes these are ways that you deal with your pain, and you deal with your challenges, and having faith and through the word and believing. And those are ways. And as Paul said, he said that we should forget the things that are behind. And that would seem kind of controversial. It don't mean that you must sweep it under the carpet. It means that you don't dwell on it every day. You don't wallow in the pain. You don't just wallow all day and just say, oh my God, I have pain, I have pain, I have pain. Right? So we ought to deal with them. Counseling sometimes, especially with children who have been through, and you brought it up, traumatic experiences, and people just shove it under the carpet. Adults who have been through traumatic experiences and it's shoved under the carpet. And these things can come out in your health. Serious health issues, blood pressure, some weird situations when you don't deal with it, when you try to push it under that carpet, it find ways of coming out. And sometimes those ways can be even embarrassing, because even females who have been raped and traumatized and they push it under the carpet, it comes out even in ways that they relate to some males and how they deal with things. Even females who were not loved by their fathers or didn't have father, it comes out in different ways, you know. And if you're not mindful of yourself or have someone to talk to, because sometimes we don't have the money to go to a counselor. Your friend can be your counselor. You have pastors who are counselors, and you have teachers and various people that you can sit with and talk it through. And talking is a very good form of therapy. Journaling is a very good form of therapy. Sometimes you're not the person who is going to sit and talk. You can journal. Journal your feelings, journal your experiences, take notes of what is happening to you, take notes of how your mind is thinking, where your thoughts are going. And when you become conscious of that, you can put those things before God in prayer and faith, and He will help you through them.
And when you don't deal with the hurt that you have, it comes out on social media. It comes out on social media. Emma and I, we've had that conversation. And I diagnose hurt people all the time on social media who cannot express dissent without disrespect and anger and vitriol and caustic language. I'm able to diagnose them because that was me. That was me when I could walk into an office here at the Jamaica Theological Seminary and say to somebody in administration that I feel the same way about you as I feel about Satan. A hurt person, out of their pain, respond in ways that they perhaps don't even know that they're responding. And what you see is a rude person, what you see is a disgusting person, what you see is an angry person, but actually it is a hurt person. And sometimes when you are on the other side of that attack, it's difficult for you to respond to that person with compassion. But sometimes what you have to do, and I'm setting you up a little differently, is not how the person must deal with it, but how we who are receiving their hurt must deal with them. Be gentle with them. When you read the acknowledgement of the book, you would see that I mentioned Barry. Barry has been on the other side of a lot of my hurt. He's gotten a lot of not so nice words from me. A lot of you have never heard me curse expletives. He has. And many persons might have said to him, you have that boy involved in your church? But he was able not just And he never even put me sit down one day and say, Damien, you mustn't behave like that. Damien, you must stop this. Damien, don't do this. Damien, don't color your hair red. Don't color your hair purple. Don't color your... Because I've had every color in my head. He said nothing. All he did was to love the hurt out of me. And sometimes that's all you need to do. Be patient. Be gentle. Step back for a minute and see the person who is responding in that way. And that might just break them and help them to get over the hurt. Because sometimes we really aren't given the tools to deal with hurt. And we have to learn through trial and error, through falling down and getting back up again. And that's fine. Because the process of life will teach us the lessons that we need to. So that when we get to 36, we can speak to the 7-year-old. Some time ago, I wrote on my blog a letter to my 14-year-old self. And that letter to my 14-year-old self was helping myself through my first nervous breakdown. So, be gentle with yourself too if you're hurting. Don't say, but I should be in a better place by now. We like to say that because we compare ourselves to other people. We really should be in a better place by now. May I take long to get over this E? And people make us believe that. Be gentle with yourself and be patient with yourself. Accord yourself the same love, the same patience, the same forgiveness that you try to give to others. That's something I've learned a lot.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Ooh, yeah. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Do 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 do. Fly me to the moon and let me play amongst the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hands. In other words, darling, kiss me. Oh, fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, in other words, you.